If you're one of those people who wants to go down to Florida and paint the sea, you're going to get a chance to learn about seascape painting and landscape painting from Laurie Snow Hein. Laurie, welcome.
Hey, it's good to be here, Eric.
We're glad you're here. What are you going to do exactly today?
One of the things clients and students ask me, they say, how do you do those seals? How do you do the grass? So I thought, let's teach a technique, show a technique that I do. I'm primarily going to use just one brush, and I'm going to share that brush with you, the information about how to get it, because I think it's almost magical. And I'm going to have quite a challenge, because I'm going to be putting a pretty good amount of paint on a fairly large painting in 45 minutes. But what I want to do is just get mainly to the brush strokes, so you can see how to do some different brush strokes with one brush.
Well, we're excited about that, and we're going to be right back, and you guys are going to get your camera set up, and so we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. All right?
Sounds good.
Thank you, Laurie. Welcome. Laurie Snow Hein is our guest today, and my name is Eric Rhoads. I'm the publisher and founder of Fine Art Connoisseur Magazine, Plein Air Magazine, Realism Today, Fine Art Today, American Watercolor, and Plein Air Today. And we do all kinds of things here at Streamline Art. We do lots of things that everybody likes to do. It's kind of like Disneyland for artists, right? We have retreats for artists, conventions for artists, online conventions for artists, books, videos, over 600 art instruction videos that we've created, lots and lots and lots of stuff. I'm an artist myself. I'm in my studio in Austin, Texas at the moment, and I have been here every day now, 265 days. We started this when coronavirus quarantine hit, and I wanted to be there for you guys, and here I am, still here, still ticking. Let's keep that thing going, baby. All right, so let's see what we've got for you today. We have some prizes, and let's see what those prizes are. First off, the winner of the John Potoshnik book, I should have pulled that out of the shelf. I didn't think to it. It's a DVD or digital stream, if you prefer, and his color book, and it is going to Terry Hetty Shockney from Peoria, Illinois. All right, thumbs up, applause for Terry Hetty Shockney. All right. I guess I just need more coffee, or maybe I need less coffee. Maybe that's the problem. Anyway, congratulations. Today, if you want to win, this is a good prize. Nikolai Blokhin's Russian Master Portraits DVD. Now, this thing, I got to tell you about this. First off, I'm going to digress just a minute, and you're gonna love this. I guarantee it. First off, I'm a Russophile. I love Russia. I went to Russia for the first time in 2004, and I went and visited art studios for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and with an art dealer, and I got to know lots and lots of Russian artists, some of which have become my lifelong friends. The Russians are absolutely sweet people and brilliant painters, brilliant. In fact, when everybody else in the world had gone to modernism, Stalin, not a good guy, but Stalin said, no, we're sticking with realism here. And that's because Catherine the Great, many, back in the 1700s, had created these great art schools. And they wanted to make Russia the Paris. So they brought in all these craftsmen, all these artists, and they trained people on how to become artists. But then they took things to the next level. The two schools in Russia right now, the Surikov Institute, where my friend Nikolai Dubovik is a professor, and the Repin Institute, where I also have friends, are the two best art schools in the world. Now, there's some great art schools, don't get me wrong. I mean, some incredible art schools. But to get into these schools, you have to be at a high level before you're accepted. They get 2,500 applicants, and they accept, I think, 30 or 40 a year. And the people who are applying already at the top of their game. And so they then take you to the next highest level you can possibly be. And then there's another system beyond that. If you get beyond that, you get to be the next highest. Well, it is considered in Russia that the very, very best artists in Russia are the professors who are teaching at these two schools, right? So I mentioned Nikolai Dubovik, who will be with me on my Russia trip. But Nikolai Blokhin was the drawing instructor, the drawing professor. That means he's one of the best in the world. Well, Nikolai Blokhin is no longer there. He went out on his own because he's so successful as an artist. He has paintings that are selling for $600,000-700,000. I mean, his work is really remarkable, and it's different. It's in that really thick, energetic Russian style, but he has his own approach. But what's interesting to learn is what that approach is, because the process is so much different than the processes that we typically go through. So I, for years, have tried to get these people to do videos with me because I want to preserve this, because the only people who really get to learn it are the people who get to go and study under these people. You can't even study under Nikolai Blokhin anymore. He doesn't do workshops. He doesn't teach. So the only way to get it is on this video. So I went over to Russia in March, right before coronavirus. And Bryant Jackson, our producer, and I, the video crew, spent 2 weeks there. I think 2 weeks, maybe it was a week, just filming 2 videos with Nikolai Blokhin. We did one, a drawing video, which will be coming in the future, and another, which is the painting video. And that's what we're going to be giving away today. This is an in-depth video. And now Nikolai doesn't talk a lot. He talks a little. He has a translator. He understands a little bit of English, but doesn't talk in English too much. But I was there watching every brushstroke, and I was amazed. Every time he did something that just blew me away, I was like, I've never seen anybody do this. So this video is going to be the great prize this week. I mean, what a great prize. So you can win that, but the way to win it is to put your name in, or not your name, but go into the comments section and just say, all right, here I am, I'm here, here's where I'm from, just because we're going to be grabbing comments from the comments section. All right. So a couple other reminders for you. First off, let's see here. I am not getting this to perform. There we go. I have been told that I need to build my Instagram. Now, how do I do that? Well, the first thing is I got to ask you guys. I've been posting a lot of painting pictures lately. Follow me, Eric Rhoads. The name is spelled differently than most people, but ERICRH. Just start there in your search. Do it right now or do it later, and you'll find it. RHOADS on Instagram. Now, in terms of what else is going on, first off, we are going to Russia, as I mentioned, and we are now down to 10 seats left. We had 40, it's either 46 or 47 seats. I think it was 46. We basically can only take enough people that we can fit into a single bus. We're going to be taking the trip of a lifetime. We're going into the small villages. I don't know, I had some pictures of those small villages. I don't know if I've got one here. Anyway, we're going to be taking this trip. It's going to be remarkable. And a lot of you have expressed interest. It's expensive, no doubt. It's expensive to take trips like these and organize things like the private receptions and the Hermitage and the hotel rooms and the villages, but it's all inclusive, right? So you're getting everything for a single price except for your airfare, but we're giving you your meals, we're giving you your hotels, all the experiences, the tickets to all the events and things that we're going to be doing. And if you're really thinking about doing that, probably ought to get it done soon, because I know of at least 2 people who are trying to figure out. One is trying to figure out how to raise the money. Another one is trying to figure out how to help the other one go, because they want to go together. Anyway, if you want to do that, get that done. It's paintrussia.com. Now, we will be doing the plein air convention in May. I'm a positive thinker, and I'm positive we're going to be doing it. And it's going to be like, finally, we're allowed out again. And finally, we're going to be able to meet together as a family of artists. And we go basically 5 days. We have indoor training. We have a giant expo hall. And we go out and paint every day together. And Colorado is so beautiful. It's going to be great. It was our largest attendance before we had to cancel. And so now people are starting to come back. They know that we have 100% money back guarantee if coronavirus prevents them or it from happening. And so they're going ahead. And they also know that they got to get it done before Valentine's Day, because that's when the price goes up. Why pay a higher price when you don't have to? Also, I want to mention Sunday coffee. It's something I do, it's kind of my philosophy on life. And it comes out every Sunday. Just go to coffeewitheric.com so that you can get your very own copy. All right. Coming up at the end of the month, the Plein Air Salon Art Competition. Dave Santiani's here holding this big check. He won the $15,000 grand prize and the cover of Plein Air magazine. It could be you. There's lots of other prizes. And it is really, really a great opportunity to build your career. Things happen when you start being able to say that you won this competition. And best of all, it's judged by art historians and art gallery people typically. And a lot of people have been invited into art galleries being discovered on there. So that's pretty cool. I want to remind you, if you're new today, we have 97 tips, 97 amazing painting secrets from the world's best artists. And that's essentially 2 hours of video. And you want to get this one soon because we're about to take this one off the market because we have a brand new one coming. And if you haven't got this yet, go ahead and get it. You can get it on streaming or on DVD. If you do DVD, you get to pay shipping, which is like $6. But otherwise, our gift to you, and you can have it. We are here every day at 12 noon, and we're on Facebook and YouTube at Streamline Art Video. 12 noon Eastern. We just do it so it's a time we can keep track of. Lunchtime in New York. I'm not in New York. And then every episode goes on YouTube as well, live, but they are all there, all 265 times 2. And I say times 2 because every day at 3 p.m. we do another video. And today is going to be superstar Catherine Statz painting the effects of light. And you'll be able to watch her as she does segments from this video. Every day at 3, we show segments. We have interviews with the artist. And we have discounts that we only do on that day. So if you have been jonesing about getting this particular video, you want to get in there today. All right. Now, last but not least, I just want to show you this real quickly.
Have you ever wanted to learn to paint in watercolor but don't think you have the talent? Most master artists will tell you that painting is a skill anyone can learn. If you follow a process, you too can paint beautiful artwork. You could spend $3,000 or more to attend a live workshop or convention. Or you could learn from the world's finest for a fraction of the cost at Watercolor Live, the world's first virtual online art conference devoted to water media. 3 days of world-class artists demonstrating in portraiture, landscapes, still life, the human figure, cityscapes, color mixing, and more. Get to know other artists and instructors personally through our breakout sessions, and we'll even paint and draw together at the end of each day in the safety of your own home. Make new friends in our breakout sessions. Paint with hundreds of others. Get private access to our exclusive members group to become part of our community, and learn to take your artwork to a higher level. Watercolor Live, 3 full days of watercolor instruction from the world's best. January 28th to 30th. And for people who want to learn painting from scratch, start with our Beginner's Day on January 27th. Soon you'll be painting faces, people, flowers, scenery, objects, and other subjects. You'll see your artwork improve faster as you learn from top artists and instructors from all over the world. Make history as part of the world's first watercolor art conference. Sign up today and join the world as we learn art together from these amazing artists. Joseph Zbukvich, Linda Daly Baker, Jean Peterson, Mario A. Robinson, John Salmonen, Thomas W. Schaller, Suni Warren, Matthew Bird, Andy Evenson, Michael Holter, Pablo Rubin, Daniel Marshall, Lauren McCracken, Angus McEwen, Kim Minikello, Ian Stewart, Brenda Swenson, Keiko Tonabe, Stephen Zhang, Birgit O'Connor, Shuang Li, Antonio Masi, Larry Moore, Glenn Knowles, and many more to come. Why not use this time to learn a new skill so you can amaze your friends and family with your paintings? Watercolor Live, from the publishers of Plein Air Magazine and American Watercolor. Sign up by January 10th and save up to $500 off the retail price.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that. Sign up by January 10th to save money off the retail price. You want to do that. It's going to be amazing. This has been everybody on that faculty has been telling me things like, this has never happened before. No one ever has gotten all these greats together to teach together on essentially one stage. It's virtual, so if you can't make the date live, you can always watch it. But if you can watch it live, you're going to be interacting with other artists. You're going to be able to paint with other artists. There's a lot of other activities. I'll be hosting it. We have a lot of fun. And somebody said to me the other day, well, I decided not to go because to one of the other live events that we did, because I see this every day and I get all this free input every day. It's different. It's completely different. You will get demos, but the demos are more complete, more in-depth. We can't possibly go into the depth that we go into in Watercolor Live. First off, we have more time for people. Secondly, we have the ability to edit certain things, and there's just a lot more that goes on. So you don't want to miss it. And we have a 100% money back guarantee. If you watch the first day and you don't feel like you got your entire week's worth of money in that first day, just let us know. By the end of the day, we'll refund 100% of your money. That's how confident we are you're going to like this. Okay, it's watercolorlive.com. Remember, there's a discount that is going to be expiring soon. You want to make sure that you get that discount. I found a picture of the Nikolai Blokhin portrait. It's not a great close-up picture. I'd like to find out one, but that's what you can win today if you leave comments. All right. Tomorrow's guest is going to be the great palette knife painter, Cynthia Rosen. So much color and energy. This image doesn't even do it justice. So we're going to have Cynthia Rosen on tomorrow. But today we have Laurie Snow Hein, and I want to just show you some of her paintings just so you understand that she's got the chops to do what you want to do. She's beautiful, beautiful paintings. And she's coming to us from Jupiter, Florida, which I wish I were in Jupiter, Florida right about now. It's getting kind of cold here in Austin, Texas. And so please welcome our guest, Laurie Snow Hein. Hi there. You know, we don't have any audio. We cannot hear you. Let me see if it's, no, it's not on our end. So I'll let you know if I hear anything. Just keep talking. Okay. There we go.
Okay, how about that? Can we take that down? Let's get that down so I can see too. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm here.
Okay, well, we'd like to be able to see you.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, there we go. I put you on full screen so we can see you. Okay. So you're in Jupiter, Florida. Okay. And where are you? You're at a brand new art center?
This is the studio, the new studio for visual arts in Jupiter, Florida.
Wow, and what is that all about?
Well, it's just a creative studio that's got all kinds of arts, from pastel and watercolor to sculpture, and I've just started working with them some, doing my first Zoom class recently, and I'm excited to help them promote all I can. And meanwhile, I've been an artist, a teacher for art for over 50 years.
Well, how is that possible? Because you don't look even 50 years old.
I'm a lot older than that, honey.
Oh, yeah, honey. Well, we're going there, are we, darling? Okay.
Yeah, close.
Okay. So, well, I'll make a point to visit you and visit the studio. You know, my dad lives in Jupiter. And so I don't know when I'm going to get down there. We're trying to get down for Christmas, but it's not looking very good. So we'll see what happens. All the Airbnbs are booked.
Yeah, well, I have an Airbnb at my house.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Come in.
Oh, yeah, well, we have 3 kids, 5 of us. So
that won't work.
All right, so I'm going to let you go ahead and start talking about what you've done here so far and what you're going to accomplish.
Okay, well, what I did, I started painting this when you started talking to the rest of the group there, and I wanted to get some things done so I can actually show you some brushwork on the grass. The particular painting that I'm working on is this photograph. And I'm not going to try to paint the whole painting. I'm not going to try to get this thing done in one session. This is a 30 by 40, so that would be kind of impossible. But my objective is to actually show some brush strokes, because usually when people look at my paintings on exhibit, they'll say, how did you do the grass? How did you do the seagrass? How did you, do different things with your brush? Or some of the things that my students really enjoy is seeing me use my brush. Now, this particular brush is made by Jerry's Autorama. It's a creative mark brush. It's a power acryl. It's a number 12 Pro Stroke. And I recently found it really just this year. And I feel it is an incredible brush. It holds its shape. It takes a beating, and I can really beat a brush up good. So you can use this brush. It's also very expensive. It comes in a 5-pack like this, and I'm not work for Jerry's Artorama. I just love this brush, so I want you to see it. So I get nothing for this, but it's called Pro Stroke. It has a little red chip on the end.
Can you hold it? Can you hold it up closer to the camera so we can see it, not so we can read it sideways? Turn it straight up. Pro Stroke. Somebody will put that in the.
Important thing is you get that little red chip because they make several brushes, and this is the Power Acryl. This whole brush set sells for about $25. I'm used to spending twice that for a good brush, so I was excited when I found a brush I can represent for my students and say, hey, get this brush because I know they can do better work with it. Having the right tools is everything. So I really wanted to promote that. And I can actually paint a whole painting with one brush because it holds its shape so well and doesn't beat up that as I push and turn and use edges on it, it doesn't the next day all curl. So this brush, I just love it. And so that's what I'm going to do the whole painting with this one brush.
And you're painting in oil?
This is oil.
Yeah.
This is oil. And I don't know how much you can see. Let me just try to show you my palette. So I know people like to see that.
Oh, lovely. Oh, why is it clear? Why do you do it clear?
And
I like glass.
I like to do it on glass because I can scrape and clean up easy in between. I have basically 8 colors of 2 yellows, 2 reds, 2 blues, and a green. And then I have white, and then I pre-mix colors. I pre-mix an off-white with each one so I can quickly see the tone I've got there. And I can also these colors are really strong. So if I grab them too much, that breaks it down. So I won't grab too much to tip my paint the color I want to do. And then I pre-mix some colors. See if I can get that up there. I pre-mix some colors for the actual landscape I'm painting so that while I'm painting, I don't have to slow down. I don't have to think. It just kind of goes together like magic for me.
Okay. So is that just a regular piece of glass?
That's just a regular piece of glass. It has the edges smoothed out so that they don't cut me.
All right. So a little tip for everybody is something that I learned at the Armory Arts Center in West Palm Beach. And that was from my instructor down there. And he said that if you have a palette with regular glass, it's got a green kind of iridium tint to it. He said that'll actually throw off your eyes. He said you can go to a glass store and request a glass that doesn't have any of that green tint in it. They add that. And so he said, and then if you want, you of course can lay it down on a piece of 50% gray board or something. So you've got a gray background.
Right. I usually paint the background gray. The one I had painted gray broke. So you got this one today.
Yeah. I've broken many myself.
I paint the back gray and I use it that way. And this is the one I usually have on one of my students' palettes. And I just said, this is easier for me to paint with than a paper palette. So I brought it for that reason.
Cool. All right.
So what I did here, I laid in first a burnt sienna underpainting and got my basic drawing in the way I wanted to. And then what I'm really going to work fast for is trying to get the background and behind the grass so you can see me actually put the grass in. But also show you some other techniques as I paint. I wish that our close-up camera was working because they can zoom in that way really close. But in this case, it's not going to work. So I'll do the best I can. So hopefully people can see what I'm working on.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
I already started an underpainting for the sky, so that's pretty close to what I want. And just to kind of show you how this brush works, which I love, is that I can come in here and just really twist and turn that brush. I want to try to stay out of the way so that that brush can actually pick up on this corner of the brush a little bit of the paint and blend really nice and give me a nice soft feathered edge there.
So that paint on there is already wet.
This paint, I just painted since I started talking to you.
Yeah, okay. All right.
35 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago. I figured I wanted to get as much done as I could so that I could get to the grasses on it. So it's easy because with the paint already mixed, I can just slap it on. I always adjust my color, always pick up a little bit more color as I go, a little different. So I don't just do the paint by numbers. I'm always adding color to whatever paint I'm picking up. But I've got the primary value right. And the value is one of the most important things of a painting. So if I get that right from the beginning, then I'm in a good start. Okay,
good. You have viewers from India, from Norway. We got them all over the world. Ontario, Canada. Let's see. So I'll throw them in from time to time so you know who's watching.
So what's going to happen here, you're going to actually lose some of the grass. But by using some liquid, I can actually paint over my underpainting that's dry now. And I can then see a little bit of my drawing. Now, it's not important for me, but it's important that people know that want to paint, that if they do an under drawing first and let it dry and use a little liquid, you can see that underdrawing and you don't lose it. So it gives you a chance to make a good decision when you get ready to paint the actual grass, or in this case, in some cases, like I'll paint a wrought iron fence or something that's more difficult, and I'll be able to see the wrought iron fence through the paint and be able to easily, without making mistakes, put my paint in. So I try to paint in large masses like you just see, and then I'll change my value a little bit, my color slightly to adjust that. And here again, I don't know if you can see me. Oh, you can't see my palette. I'm sorry. But anyway, I pick up little bits of different color, and I'm going to affect that with a little bit of sky. So I'm going to bring that right over top and start getting a feeling of some distance in here. One value, one color won't do that, but as I change colors and values, I can do it. And generally, if I go light, dark, I'm going to get more depth right away. So I'm going to put a dark accent in here to create a dark form coming through, and actually get a little bit of a flow of an angle going this way too. So I always try to avoid parallel lines and try to keep more interesting shapes. Now I'm going to go back and work on a little bit of the light.
I find, Laurie, that when I'm down there plein air painting and I'm painting on the beach, it's always a challenge to make the painting interesting because you know it's flat, right? So you got a flat surface on the beach, and you've got this flat horizon line. Sometimes you get some waves, but so you're saying basically angles is the key to that, making sure you get the right angle.
I'm really aware of diagonals and angles in any painting I do and where they lead my eye. So if I don't catch it in the beginning of the composition, I catch it at the end of the composition to make sure it works out nice. Yeah. So now I'm going to, so I've got a little bit lighter, I put in darker, and now I'm going to go lighter again.
Okay.
And so far I'm just using a flat brush stroke, not too fancy.
And you really want it to feel like some of that sand is showing through underneath it.
And I want to not try to copy the photograph. I want to be influenced by the photograph. So I'm letting some of the sky color come down in the sand. And that liquid just not only lets me see through my painting, it also allows me to blend very easily and move quickly. Now, generally speaking, if I do a painting this way, this is my underpainting. I will go back and actually put some nice thick paint on afterwards. So this is not the final story. This is the beginning story.
Laurie, you're going right over the tops of your underpainting and the weeds. Can you explain why?
And you probably can't see it, but I can still see that underpainting coming all the way through. And therefore, I can know exactly where I want to put everything.
Okay.
So
if that's the case, why even do an underpainting there?
Well, because I wanted people to be able to see what I was painting. And also, if I'm painting out plein air, I would do an underpainting just to verify my composition. And if I don't like it being the burnt sienna and it's wet with mineral spirit, I can wipe it off and redraw. So it gives me a chance to see my composition. It gives me a chance to see my value study, because when I do that, it's not really a drawing. It's really more of a value study that I'm trying to do.
Are you painting on a board or on canvas? What is it?
This is on canvas.
Okay.
And like you said, I don't care in this case that I paint over something and totally cover it, because all I really wanted to do is let you be able to see what, where I was coming from, so you weren't kind of lost in what I was painting.
You're pretty brave to do such a big canvas on such a short show. Well,
yeah, it is, but I'll get there. And then I'm going one shade lighter yet. So that what I've done here is use the principal gradation to get feeling of distance going back, so that I don't have just one value in there. It's not like a paint by numbers. It's a combination of different values and different temperatures to bring me through the painting.
Laurie, we just had somebody said hello from snowy Russia.
Oh, how cool is that? I wish I could go. That would be, I love to travel. I've been to India, I've been to Bhutan, I've been different places, but I have not been to Russia.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I want to go to India. That's on my bucket list.
Now this is where I can start using some brush stroke. There's some footsteps in this sand, and so I can just come in, and by how I flick that brush, I can get the feeling. Can you see that, Eric?
Yep.
I can get the feeling of those footsteps in that sand, so that it's not flat anymore. So just by how I use the brush. So I'm using the edge of the brush, not the whole brush. So here again, one brush to do the whole painting. I don't have to keep changing the brushes.
Now the footstep is that, do you go back over that and you've got a dark, do you add a light on top of it to give it a
That
three-dimensional?
would be details, and right now there's not going to be time to do details. And like I said, I'm going to probably go back over, but now I'm actually putting texture in the back part a little bit too. And I want this to be just a little bit darker yet to show a few more footsteps. So I did that a little bit darker than I need, just so you can see it. Can you see those footsteps?
Yep, I sure can.
Just trying to, and what's really neat is because the painting's wet on wet, it picks up the other color underneath and moves it around. So that I'm always getting a variety of paint going on. So there, and the most important part for me to cover right now is this part behind the seagrass, because I'm going to put that sea oats up and let you see how that goes too.
Okay.
I want this to be a little bit darker because I want this to be wider to narrow. Want to avoid parallel lines.
Hello, Pakistan. Okay, somebody asked, is it liquid? It's Liquin, which is a medium made by Winsor Newton. Liquin, Liquin.
When I have a color on my brush that I'm using and I like, and I see it someplace else, then I'll come on up and I'll start affecting some other areas. So now I'm going to affect some of the ocean back here.
All right.
Bring in some of that lighter color and break up the solid line. Now, if I was going to do more contemporary, more abstract painting, then I might leave it hard line. But as a fine artist that likes realism, I like to soften lines, soften edges here and there. So this is my chance. I've got the same brush, haven't really cleaned it out, haven't put in the turpentine one time, but I'm able to come in and just how I wiggle that brush, I can create the feeling of the waves in the background. Can you see that okay, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
So that's starting to work okay. And I'm going to make it a little bit brighter there. And I also want to show a little bit of the sun breaking through the clouds. So I'll take some more paint and I'm going to check my value. And now I want that sun to actually feel like it's coming up out of that part of the cloud. And I use a heavy stroke and then a lift, and a heavy stroke and a lift, so that I get a nice soft edge on it.
Nice.
And then I'm going to...
Hello, Brazil. Oh, you can paint seascape scenes in Brazil.
I can. Yeah, any place there's an ocean. And then a brighter value here. And again, just a softening of the edge so that you can feel that sun coming through in that certain spot. Now I've got a light color on my brush. Instead of just going down and changing my color, I'm just going to bring some of that color down here where I want more bright and adjust with a little bit more pink. So now I'm not cleaning my brush out. I'm just letting some of that color flow over into this area.
Can you talk about why it's important to bring colors from the foreground and the lower part and the upper part together?
You're going to divide a painting too much if the color doesn't flow. It's best if the color flows adjusted, because it doesn't be the exact same color, but this is a great way to move that color around because the brush automatically picks up what now I've got more of a gray color because I've been working on gray. So I'll go back here and put a little of that color in back here. So I start moving that color around, and I'm intentionally breaking up that line a little bit so it's not such a hard, dark line. That's actually some seaweed along the edge of the ocean that I'm trying to affect. Now, how much time do we have, Eric? Because I want to know, I want to get onto the graph before I miss it too. So we still got plenty of time?
Yeah, we're doing just fine.
Okay, good.
I probably got 20 minutes.
Oh, that's plenty of time.
I'm going to say a special hello to Judith. I'm not going to mention her last name, but she's in the comments. She's suffering from COVID. She can't go to her studio, so she's home watching. All right, everybody, good thoughts and prayers for Judith. All right, Judith. We're one big family here. We have to take care of each other, encourage one another.
So I've got that going a little bit stronger. And I still wanted to put a little bit more of a lighter stroke back in here so I feel that sun hitting the sand. And it's got to be irregular. I don't want the same stroke everywhere. I want it to be irregular. So I just, again, I'm trying to get some more distance in there. Now I'll throw some shadow in the foreground. I intentionally made this a little bit darker so that I have that dark, light, dark, light, dark. That helps give me depth.
Nice.
And if I look at it,
gets a little darker as you get closer, right?
Yeah, more actually not just darker, but more contrast. So that there has to be the darker values, the lighter values in the foreground, and more chroma to it too is nice to make it stronger.
Hello, Norway. Another place on the bucket list. Laurie, you and I are going to have to start going and doing some traveling.
I like to travel. Yeah, I've got an RV, and last summer I took off and went all the way across America. I spent 90 days on the road on my RV. I went over from West Palm Beach all the way to all the national parks, for Bryce Canyon and Glacier, and you name it. I was there, Yellowstone, and then I went all the way up to Lake Louise and down to
did you say you went to Belize?
Lake Louise.
Lake Louise. Oh, yeah. And did you paint? Did you paint while you were on the trip?
While I was gone, I sure did. So I did plein air painting, and my camper has a nice awning. So when it started raining, when I was over in Yellowstone, I just went ahead and put out my awning and kept on painting.
Did you do this by yourself, or did you have somebody with you?
By myself.
Wow. I think there's a story in that. There's another artist that I know, is about the same age as you. Her husband doesn't want to go on these RV trips, and so she bought an RV, and she's been doing the national parks herself too. So you guys, we need to put together an RV club so we can all travel together and caravan. That'd be kind of fun. Paint together.
It was a great trip, such wonderful memories and fun paintings to have come out of it. So it was a good experience, it really was.
Oh, and you felt safe the whole time, obviously.
I have my Lord Savior, and I'm not given to fear.
All right.
I try to be cautious. I try to be logical, but I am not afraid of what the world has to offer, as long as I use good sense.
All right, good. I like that. Okay. Hello, Guatemala. Welcome. Hello from the Great White North. I don't know what that is. Hello, Italy. Laurie, you're pulling them in, man. You're pulling them in.
Well, I think you're pulling them in, Eric.
Nah, I got nothing to do with that.
You've got the magic there. You're just amazing what you've been able to accomplish and how you've been able to share so much with so many people. When I was on my trip out west and I was traveling those long distances, I just listened to your station the whole time. And you were able to see all the things that you were sharing with so many people. You're so gracious that they're able to see those programs that you've done.
So you did this trip during COVID?
No, I did it before COVID. I did it.
You did before COVID. Okay.
I'm so lucky. I did it the year before COVID.
Okay, cool.
Not COVID.
But you know, the RV parks are packed right now. They're all sold out because a lot of people are riding COVID out in their RVs.
I think that's pretty smart.
Yeah. If I didn't have a job and have to be here every day, I'd probably do that too.
I started heading out this summer despite the COVID, it wasn't going to hold me up. I wanted to go up to Shenandoah area and some other areas, and went to visit a friend in Atlanta, and I got a cold. And when I got a cold, I was afraid I had COVID, and I was terrified that I was going to give her COVID. So I turned around and came home afterwards. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to take a chance of meeting up with people and making them sick just because I wanted to travel. So although I got a good visit with her, I didn't want to expose anybody else to that possibility.
So tell me about this purple in the foreground you just did.
Well, it's going to be adjusted. Another thing that I won't have time to do with this painting that you can watch is that I do glazing. And with the glazing, I go back over and I put another color over top of that so that it may seem purple now, but when I'm done and I glaze it with some pink and some yellows, or even sometimes blue to adjust it, predominantly in this case it'll be oranges, that will take care of it right away. I can do a little glazing right now, even though it's just by bringing some orange in, I'll warm it up. So I like to mix my colors on my canvas. And I want that to be darker. I'm just trying to get enough in there so when I start putting some grass in, you'll be able to see that grass. And really, color looks the color it is mainly because of the color that's next to it. So for me, it might seem really gray on my palette. When I put it up here, it might look really purple. And I just want to get that covered up enough so I feel the difference there.
Luscious, really pretty colors.
Well, I think as an artist, we have to see what's there, even though a photograph doesn't always give to it. So I'm going to go now. There's more I'd like to. I'm going to do a little bit up here in the sky so that when I do the grass doesn't have to be redone as quickly. I maybe can get the grass done and finish it. Okay,
you got about 10 to 12 minutes.
I got it. Okay.
Now you got plenty of time to finish that thing.
You're cute. It won't be hard. I can get a lot. The main thing is I want to get people to see what the possibilities are with one brush that actually can do so much, and be able how much control you can have in moving your color around and creating a nice painting quickly, even if you're painting outdoors or in the studio. And quick isn't important. It's, you know, that the accuracy, asking yourself the question, why is that happening? Why does this look like that? Getting to understand what it is you're painting. So the longer you paint, the more you get that understanding.
I took a lesson from artist Heine Hartwig one time, and Heine said he paints 3 paintings at a time. He has 3 easels set up and has 3 photographs and works just from one to the other constantly.
I'm not that crazy.
And Cynthia Rosen does that too sometimes. Anyway, I said, why do you do that? He says, you can't make any living and make a living as a painter unless you learn to paint fast.
Well, you know, I made a living as a painter. I supported a family of 6 children. My husband wasn't able to work, and I had my 6th child when that happened. And yeah, you have to learn to paint whether you feel like it or not. It doesn't become a decision that today I feel like painting, today I don't feel like painting. You just paint because you have to pay the bills. And I can't tell you how many times I would say, oh, I just need this much money today to be able to pay the taxes or whatever came up at the end of the year that were big, my insurance, and you know, it was always provided. So I just feel like I've been really blessed.
Wow, you're a trooper to have to do that.
Well, you have to do.
I have so much respect for people who make a living as an artist, but to make a living as an artist, as a mom, supporting and dealing with the kids and everything else, that's remarkable.
Well, I had the best in-laws in the world, and they were really good with helping with the kids. And actually, we had a motorhome back then. I put all the kids in the motorhome. We traveled across the country and did art festivals with them all in the motorhome. And I taught my kids to help me sell things and to help do the work that had to be done, and it did them good too.
And they turned out okay?
They all turned out great. My son Carl is a magician.
Wow.
He's a very talented artist, but he uses it doing magic around the world. Carl Coppertop, if you look him up, he's quite fascinating in how he does his work.
Coppertop?
Coppertop with a K. Carl Coppertop with a K. So now I'm going to start on this grass. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a line across here, and I'm going to try to wipe off that gray part that's on it, and I'm just putting it where I want that to be, the thicker part. And then I'm going to start taking this grass, and I'm going to go right on through. So I'm going to take this out, and this brush, isn't that neat?
Yeah, it really holds up, doesn't it?
It holds the brush in a way that no other brush will hold. So now I'll just continue that, and it's a matter of pressing hard and then pulling up. And I'm letting this twist a little bit so it has a little bit of a direction. And I'm really not paying too much attention to what was underneath originally.
So the underneath was just kind of being a roadmap for you.
Well, it was a roadmap for those that were watching too, so that they could kind of see.
Yeah.
Now this is great. I just smeared it. I got too wide. I got too thick. I'm not going to worry about that. That can easily come off. I'm just going to take this brush and go right back down over it. So I'm going to clean it up like that. So I pushed a little bit too hard.
I have found one thing that I've also found is sometimes you need to carve things out, and that's one of the magic.
I love carving. It's my favorite. So that doesn't bother me. And then I'm going to go again. That's a brush. I'm pushing a little bit too hard.
Somebody said that Elaine Miller says Carl Coppertop was in New Hampshire entertaining, she thought.
Yes, he's been everywhere. He goes around the world. He took me on a trip 2 years ago to Australia. We went on a Crystal Cruise Line, and he did magic on the cruise line, and I had the best time of my life on that trip.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Sounds like fun. We'll have to have him on doing magic one day.
Well, you'd have fun. Matter of fact, he's doing Zoom magic. He's just figured out how to do that. And what a great family thing to do. We did it with about 20 members of our family, and he orchestrated it. And what a wonderful time together the family had, watching and participating on Zoom doing magic.
Outstanding. So we've got about 10 minutes.
Well, that's still plenty of time. So in here, what I'm doing here, I don't know that you can see it on the camera that you're looking at, but I have about 4 different values and colors, and I am actually changing that up as I go. Now I'm starting to pull up from the bottom a little bit. And so I'm picking up some alizarin, some burnt sienna, some dark green with a burnt sienna and phthalo green mix. So I've got some dark colors there. And I'm just going to start folding this grass over a little bit so you start seeing the bottom of it.
Somebody said they love that you gave your son a plug. What a great mom you are.
Well, you know, he doesn't need it. He's doing pretty good. But people will just love him if they see him. You know, and like I said, family times are so hard right now with COVID to know how to get together and to really interact. And what he did with our family last week was just fabulous.
What's his website?
Carl with a K, Coppertop with a K.com.
Okay. CarlCoppertop.com.
And he can really draw and do things beautifully. He does all kinds of artistic things with balloons that are pretty hard to imagine. But he's really just doing close-up magic is what his love is.
We have an artist, Ken Salaz, who we had on the show, who did some magic segments on his video. And I'll have to send that to you for your son.
I would like that. Yeah, he probably, if it's a musician in the magician world, he knows him. You know, because he's well known. He actually, what's neat about Carl is that he creates his own tricks so that he teaches other magicians how to do their magic.
Cool. That's something I always wanted to do when I was a kid. I've never done it. I guess I need to learn it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. That's what he wanted to do, and he just followed his passion. And that's what we all should do, is follow our passion.
Yep. He probably started when he was a little kid, right?
Yes, he was 13, and he said, Mom, there's a magician's meeting over at the Science Museum. Can I go? And I said, okay, let's go. So I took him to the Science Museum and watched the show. And he said, I want to join. I said, okay, go ahead. And they said, well, you have to be 16. You're too young. So I joined, and I became one of the Brotherhood of Magicians. And we went, that was our date every month.
Oh, cool.
And whoever would have thought it was going to turn into a career. What a surprise.
Yeah. Well, you just never know, right?
You never
Hello,
know.
Sweden.
Now, this is interesting. As I brush down, I'm picking up some blue and pulling it back up. And that helps give me my transition of being able to see through a little bit and to be able to make it more variable. So I can actually pull new colors through that way. It changes my color. And as I twist and turn this, I get a little bit more shape. So I'm going to skip. I could do more here, but I'm going to skip that for a minute. I'm going to go up and put a few of the leaves on so you can see that, how I do it.
All right.
So I'm adding a little red to my paint, my dark color, because these sea oats will catch that sunlight and be able to, let's see if I get this one. And that sunlight will turn them a little bit red probably. So there. And then I just use the end of my brush and check it. So there's not a lot of drawing. The brush does the work. Can you see how that worked?
Yeah, you didn't even have to get a little bitty brush out for
I
that.
didn't have to get a little bitty brush at all. I went a little wide right there, so I'm just going to wipe that off, and I'll catch it later and fix it. And then here I've got another one. And again, I'm just using the tip of my brush, and I'm able to put the detail I want on there. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Not hard. So there's another brush technique that I think people will find helpful.
Tell me the name of the brush again, people in the comments that joined late.
This is a Power Acryl. I don't know if you can see that name on it or not, but it's Power Acryl. It's sold by Jerry's Artorama and Creative Mark. And this happens to be a number 12 brush. And the number on the brush is 101. Is that 8? 1018?
Yeah, that's okay. That's good. That's enough.
Okay, 1012.
And when you guys are shopping, tell everybody where you heard about it so that they let us know.
Well, I didn't hear about this. I just went ahead and I'm always trying something new, Eric. Never just taking something and saying, okay, that's all I'm going to use from now on. I'm always, hey, these brushes were on sale at Jerry's, and I said, I'm going to try that brush out. That looks really interesting. It had the right feel. Hey, when you feel a brush, and you kind of massage it, and you say, hey, that brush feels good.
Yep.
And that's how I felt about it. So I took it home and used it, and I'm sold on it now. I just love this brush.
I also, by the way, support local art stores, even though they may be national companies. It's nice to be able to go into an art store and browse. Browsing online isn't the same.
No, I intentionally go into the store to purchase so that I'm supporting my local store. And that includes Michael's even. I want these stores to survive and be there when I need them in a pinch and not have to wait to go get something.
We now have Plein Air Magazine in Michael's in 288 stores, which is pretty exciting.
That is.
And you will pretty much find me at the art store every Saturday. I find a reason to go in. And
well, I'm a brush junkie and a paint junkie. I'm always trying something new.
Me too.
But I've kind of gotten to where I love gambling paints because I think they're a little bit safer. And I like
You're doing what? What'd you say about paints?
Gambling paints. I've kind of gotten to where I like them. I like the quality. I like the permanence of them. And I feel like they're safer. They try to pay attention to things that make the paint safer for us.
Uh-huh.
So I like that. So I'm pulling this down now and pulling it back up again. So that kind of gives you a good idea of how I do this. This just becomes tedious at this point. I'm doing a whole bunch of them. So I'll go back and work on, so you can see how that works pretty nice to do it.
Yeah. Now, and what about shadow?
Here.
Yeah. What would you do in terms of shadow for those things? Because that light's coming through there.
Right. So what I do first, I'm going to darken it in here. And I'm just going to blend that in. And I'll put some more accents back in, but I want those colors to actually blend into that sand too. I don't want it to be hard edged at all. And as I do it here, I'll pull up a little bit more. So that starts to blend it in. And of course, there's going to be other grasses in here that'll actually pull down. So I'm going to pull that down here. And this will be blended up.
Uh-huh.
And I add color as I do it so that I can adjust that color. So it's not going to be just a green tone, but I want some of that green in that sand. I don't want it to just be a blue sand. Yeah. And what's really neat about this composition that I liked is that it had blue and orange, and those are complementary colors so that they blend really easily on the canvas for me because they're going to gray rather than muddy really bad. But it gives me lots of opportunities with lots of beautiful grays.
Uh-huh. Cool. So your focal point would clearly be the grass, yes?
That's my forward area, and that's where you're going to hit first. And then the sunset back here, but the sun going down is going to be where you'll end up.
All right. So would you end up putting a reflection on that water, or would that stay as it is?
No, I would definitely put some reflection on that water.
Because I was curious about if putting a reflection on there would distract from the grass.
Well, I'm not worried. That's going to be so dark and so strong a contrast to the foreground that I don't feel that's going to hurt at all to have that secondary point there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So strong and so light and dark contrast.
All right. Well, we're down to our last 3 minutes. What do you want to do? And if you had 3 minutes left on Earth to tell these people, what would you use it for?
That's a big one. Just really paint what you love, follow your passion. Always be satisfied with what you're achieving at that moment, because whatever we do, it's good for us. I always tell myself, for me, this is good. And I never quit learning, never quit trying to do better, always trying to be a better artist. And my first teacher back when I was 12 years old used to come around and pat me on the shoulder and say, Laurie, for you, this is good. And I also remind myself that I'm just not done yet. I've always got more to learn. I've always got more I can paint on this picture, and it's just going to get better. So don't be discouraged when things don't go the way you want.
Outstanding.
That's kind of where I come from with my painting. I've been teaching for a lot of years. I started teaching full time when my husband lost his job. And that's how I first started holding the family together, is with that. And you know what? I didn't think you could make a living as an artist. I didn't think it was possible because my father had so discouraged me from doing that.
Well, he was wrong.
He was like, there's no way you can make a living as an artist, Laurie. From the time I was a little kid, before I went to kindergarten, he even pulled that one off on me. So I was convinced it wasn't possible to make a living as an artist.
This is a big problem across the world, and it's one thing I'm going to conquer in my lifetime, because I have many things that I want to do. And I'm actually building out a course right now. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get it done, but I have a course that I want every art school student to take. If anybody ever intends to become a professional, I want the art schools to actually make it available for all the students, because they don't teach you how to become an artist. I mean, how to make a living. They teach you how to do the process of art, but they ignore the other important part. So
How to make a living. Yeah.
So that's one of my big life goals, is to get that done, and I will do it.
I'd be glad to help you on that one anywhere as I could, because I've done it, and it's amazing, and I'm thankful, and it's possible when you have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a sense a lot of artists feel like, well, I became an artist, so I don't have to do this other stuff. But if you don't do that stuff, you won't eat.
Well, that's how it was. I wasn't going to go on food stamps. I wasn't going to not be able to take care of my family, and you just do what you have to do. And
Absolutely.
they provided, I think. And that's how it works. That's how it works. And you can make a living as an artist. And there's just certain things you have to have a willingness to work hard. It's not easy. It's just something you make up your mind and you do it.
That's just a beautiful painting. Just congratulations on what you pulled off in such a short amount of time.
Well,
We are all very impressed, and everybody in the comments is giving thumbs up and applause. That's terrific.
Well, I'm glad I got to what my goal was, to get far enough along that I can put down this grass and let you see how it worked.
Yeah.
And let you see how I can twist and turn the brush, how you can push and then lift and get different brush strokes.
Yep.
So you can, and also a chance to see a new brush that you could possibly want to use yourself.
Yeah. Well, Laurie, we're out of time. Will you come back on camera real quickly?
Hi there.
Move over a little bit so we can see you.
There we go.
Ah, that's great. Well, Laurie, you were fabulous today. And
I appreciate all that you do and what you offer so many people around the world. I've watched a lot of your videos. I've watched your program. I've listened to you for hours while I traveled. So I feel like I know you. It's nice to get the chance to talk.
Well, thank you. Well, we'll get together when Jupiter has a special place in my heart. South Florida does. I learned to paint in South Florida. I'll tell that story sometime. So thank you so much. You did a great job. Everybody, thumbs up and applause for Laurie Snow Hein. Now, where can we find your, do you have a website?
LaurieHeinArtist.com.
Okay, I got it in here somewhere. Let me just find it. Oh, I don't have it in here. LaurieHeinArtist.com. Okay.
And the website's been revamped. I've got somebody who's got it. We got to do more work with it, because I had a great big website that was too big. So I was trying to pare it down a little bit.
Okay. Well, everybody go there to that website, buy something. It's Christmas. Everybody needs a little help. All right, Laurie, thank you so much for being on today. You are a rock star. Very impressed.
Thank you. Good to meet you all.
And thank you tell us again the name of the art center.
The art center here is the new studio for visual arts in Jupiter, Florida.
All right, good. I'll check it out when I'm down there, maybe next week. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, and I have a personal gallery over at Sabarin Gallery at Driftwood Square on US 1 in Juneau. So I have my own personal gallery there too.
Okay, terrific. Good. Well, if you're in South Florida, you know where to go. Thank you, Laurie. Well, our guest was Laurie Snow Hein. I thought that was really wonderful. I think she's a really great teacher. Obviously, when you teach for 50 years, you get good at it. And I'm energized. I hope you are too. And I think it's really cool that she took an RV across the country by herself. I don't know if I have the guts to do that. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, we are here every day at 12 noon. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to our family. You can join our chat group, which is called the Dreamliners. Lots of benefits there, because they get some things that I can't really talk about. But anyway, you join them. We love having you here. We're here every day at 12 noon. We're here also every day at 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And today at 3 p.m. we have Catherine Statz. I'll be hosting that. Catherine will be doing Painting the Effects of Light. And you'll be able to get her video on a discount today. This is what we've been doing through coronavirus, is to try to give you guys something to keep you learning, occupied. We have had thousands of people from all over the world communicating with one another, getting to know each other. We had a Christmas party the other night online. I'm going to do a marketing party where we're going to talk about goal setting. I have to figure out a date for that. We're just trying to be together, because we can't be together otherwise. And so this is a great way to make new friends. join us, become a part of our family. And we're here every day at 12 noon. Just find us on Facebook or YouTube by searching Streamline Art Video. We're also replaying on Twitter and Instagram and, I don't know, some other platforms. So we love having you here. Reminder that Watercolor Live, the world's largest watercolor conference online, coming up with the best watercolor artists in the world. It's never been done before. Historic. You want to become a part of that. If you can't make the dates, you can, it's virtual. But if you're working in an office or something, you can't make the dates, you can get different replay links so you can watch it when you can. And people, the ones we've done so far, Plein Air Live and Realism Live, people have been watching them over and over and over and over again. There's so much data, so much content. We couldn't do our normal plein air convention and figurative art convention this year for obvious reasons. So anyway, if you want to learn more about what we do, just go to streamlinepublishing.com and hit /everything. And that's where you'll find all of our newsletters, our videos, our art instruction, our books, our products, our websites, our magazines, our artist retreats, our conventions. There's so much there and so much more to come. So we're working on a big new project. We're going to maybe announce it today or tomorrow, and that's going to be pretty cool. So just keep your eye out. You probably should go to outdoorpainter.com and get signed up for our newsletter there, because then if you get on our mail list, you start hearing about all the cool things that we're announcing. We've got a whole bunch of new projects for 2021 that we're working on now. We're about to announce a new one. We've developed a completely new technique, a new way of doing things. Of course, we really innovated in online conventions and came up with new ways of doing that. We're now re-innovating that, but we also have innovated and have come up with a completely new way to do, I can't say more, but you'll find out soon. Thank you for watching. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher, fine art connoisseur, and Plein Air Magazine and Streamline Art. Have a really terrific day. Remember, stay positive, stay upbeat, stay safe, wash your hands, and keep learning and growing, and don't doom scroll. It's not going to do you any good. There's a lot going on. It's going to get crazy, folks. Just going to get crazy. Just saying. So buckle your seatbelt. We're going to be fine, because we are the artists of the world. We are the ones who keep the world sane through our art. Take care. Bye-bye.